Today is day 4 of JS for websites, and it is also day 378 of web development. I'm not sure if I'm going to count this as web development, but we'll see. But I just have it there just in case. And so my plan for today is to kind of put together everything that I learned for the past 3 days of JS, which is basically DOM access methods. And so that includes like accessing the DOM with classes, with IDs, and etc. And so my plan is basically to copy this article of lions by National Geographic and paste it into my website, and then change every time that the word lion is mentioned and change it to something like penguins because I love penguins. So I'll go here to my CodePen, put in my HTML tags, and inside my HTML I'll put in my body tags, and inside the body I'll just put in a p tag for paragraph and then closing p tag at the end after I paste it in. And then this is the article, very unnicely formatted. Now, here's the thing I realized. In the examples on Khan Academy, all of the paragraphs, if I wanted to change a specific word, they happened to be inside a class, right? Or inside another tag. And so right now I can clearly see that none of them have anything. They don't have classes, they don't have span tags, nothing. So how am I supposed to access that? So this is like a real world problem because I just realized that. I'm like, what? Because the only thing that I can change, the only tag that I can access is a p tag and also the body. But the p tag, right? I mean, the only thing I can really do is just change the whole p, right? The whole paragraph to be a certain word. So I guess I could do that. So I'll just make a variable called paragraph and set it equal to document. So that's the DOM dot get elements. Elements. No, that's the wrong one. Query selector, and then just put in the p tag. Oops. And then to change it, I would have done paragraph, right, dot inner HTML, set it to something like penguins. That's not how you spell penguins, right? So semicolon. All right, and that's literally the only thing I can do now that I think of it, right? Because that's the only tag I can access, unless I manually go in and give each lion a span tag, but it just doesn't make sense. So tell me how. So I have to think about how I would do this realistically. Like if I were to try to do this and just like from a random article, like how would this work? Because the lions don't have anything surrounding them. So I wonder if there's this thing that does it automatically, like finds or like locates a certain word within a text. I don't know. I'm gonna have to end up maybe just taking one paragraph, like a short paragraph of this article, and manually putting in the span tags and then practice targeting those or accessing those. But yeah, like so far this is what I can do. Anyway, to explain, I created a variable called paragraph. This holds, right? This is the paragraph. So this is the document, right? The document is the DOM, the don't you tell me I forgot, document object model. Document, okay. Was questioning myself there. All right, it's a document object model. The DOM basically is a copy of your site. So you're doing this through a browser, right? So you think of your site, right? And your browser kind of makes a copy of your site, and that copy is the DOM. And the DOM is held in as a variable in JavaScript, and that variable is document. And then from that variable, I can use functions to target certain nodes, right? Because in HTML they're elements, but when the browser kind of makes a copy of those elements, they become nodes, they become objects. And so these are now objects or nodes that you are accessing through this function that is available by the document, right? And so query selector is an access method that selects basically single elements. And so if there was another paragraph here, it wouldn't select. Like I'll show you. If I put in another paragraph here, oh, I have to scroll all the way down. Oops. If I put another paragraph here, it's going to literally stay the same because query selector only access the first only access a single element, and so it's only going to access the first p paragraph tag that it sees, right? Whereas if I just did, oh, let me finish explaining. And then so I take the paragraph, inner HTML, I target its HTML, and just change it to penguins. That's basically it. And then to compare it, if I just do query selector all, this function actually takes in more than one element, but in order for this to work, I would have to do a for loop because what this returns, I believe, is a node list. It returns a list, and so I have to iterate over the list, right? Because I can't just do a list and change its inner HTML. Like, no, I have to go through the list and change the inner HTML of each individual item in that list, because again, this returns multiple items in a list. So to do that, I would have to do a for loop. So I'll do for set a variable called, I don't know, I'll do paragraph and set this to paragraph list because it's a list of paragraphs. So I'll change this. All right, so var paragraph set that equal to 0. Maybe I'll do like paragraph counter, right? And then the paragraph counter has to be, or as long as the paragraph counter is less than the paragraph list dot length, right, the length of the paragraph list, then the paragraph counter can go up 1, so plus plus. All right, and then the following condition can be applied. If those conditions are met here, then the following for loop can be applied. So it would be paragraph list. So for each paragraph counter, or you can think of it as paragraph counter and paragraph can be used interchangeably. So for each paragraph in the paragraph list, then change its inner HTML to something like penguins. And so both of the paragraphs are going to change into penguins if I did that right, and if I didn't do any spelling mistakes like I always do. So let me check. So I have paragraph list, paragraph counter. Oops. For variable, paragraph counter is equal to 0. That's supposed to be semicolon, not a comma. And then, I don't know why this is like that. Paragraph counter is less than paragraph list dot length, blah, blah, blah. Paragraph list dot paragraph counter dot HTML penguins. Okay, let's see. Document dot query selector all key tags. Nope. Let me see. So paragraph list. Okay, so I can debug. If this doesn't work, I could just check why it's not working. So console.log and just output the paragraph list. And so when I run this and save this and open it in debug mode, 1 second, I can do Control-Shift-I, and that's going to bring up the Chrome developer tools. And I can go into the console, and it should. There's not a function, so it's telling me it's not even a function, so that means I must have spelled it wrong. So query selector, oh, it's because I used 2 capital L's. All right, there we go. And that works. See, we love Chrome developer tools. All right, so now it works, right? So basically changed both of the paragraphs to penguins. Why? Because I used this function in comparison to the last function, which was just query selector, right? Which only selected a single element. This selects multiple elements, but the only caveat is that I have to iterate over the list that it outputs, right? Because it doesn't just return a single element, it returns a whole list. And so I can't just change the list and tell its inner HTML to be something different, because that's not how it works. The list doesn't have any HTML. The stuff inside the list is what has the HTML. And so I would have to iterate over the paragraph list so I could change the inner HTML of each paragraph. And that's what this part does, right? So the counter is 0. So as long as the paragraphs, right, or paragraphs equals to 0, so as long as the paragraphs are less than the length of the paragraph list, then add up a paragraph. And then this condition, right, for each paragraph inside the paragraph list, I'm changing the inner HTML to be penguins. Okay, so that explains that. Now, let me see, back to the real world problem. I don't have anything that to access each lion in this article, which is so irritating. How would this work in real life? Huh. I know for a fact that there must be something, but I guess that's not up to my knowledge right now. So what I'll do is I'll just maybe delete all of this from down here. Okay, and just go here. And so for the example's sake, I would have done this before the video, but I'll just go through and just give each lion and put it in a span tag. And also give it a class of animal. That's not how you spell animal. Okay. So I'll do that. And then there's another problem where it's like lions when it's plural. So I guess I'll have to give that another class and maybe do animals. Change that to animal, maybe animal plural. All right, and then I have animals, 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 blah, 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 lions. And now there's like lions with the you know what? I might as well just, I don't even know. I'll just change it to this and that. And then there's another one over here. Oops. And then, let's see, there's one over here. And then, there's another one over here. And then, that's it, right? If I didn't mess up. Okay, so now each lion, let's pretend this is the entire article. Each lion, like my goal, right, is to change anytime the article mentions the word lion or lions or anything related, to change it to penguins, okay? So, even though it might absolutely not make sense within the article, because it's talking about like a habitat and how it lives in Africa, and I'm pretty sure that penguins, imagine if penguins did live in Africa, but no. Or maybe, you know what, there could be, you know, you never know. I doubt it. Anyway, all right, so back to my JS. So let's say I want to change, I'll kind of comment this code out. So let's say I basically want to change, let me think. So I could do this by targeting the span tag, right? So I can do a variable, call it animal, set that equal to, you know what, that I think about it? There's literally only one that says lion. So what I'll do is I'll just change the article to say what are African, and then change the span to be this tag instead, because I don't want to just make two functions for nothing. Span line, okay, that works. All right. So I'll say var animal, so variable animal, and I'll set it equal to document dot, and this is where I'm going to get that node or element or object, whatever, interchangeably could be used, that contains the animal. So in this case is the line. So for me, if I'm thinking about it, if I want to target the span tag, it's a tag. So I can do get elements by tag name and put in the span. All right, and so semicolon, and if I want to see if that actually worked, I can do console.log and just pass in that variable, save that, and open this up in debug mode, Control-Shift-I, and I'll be able to see if that worked. All right, so it didn't work. So clearly, I have the HTML collection, right? And it's giving me all of the span tags over here. And I can clearly see that it's even highlighting it. All right, so that worked. And let me see. So yeah, so this is returning not a single element, but again, you saw that it's returning an HTML collection, which is an array. So it's different from, which one is it? Query selector all, that returns a list, a node list. Get elements by tag name and get elements by class name return HTML collections, which are arrays. There's not really a difference in the context of what I'm doing right now, but there is, but there's not. Anyway, let's just focus on this. But it's the same thing, like to get the outcome, it's the same thing. Only difference is it's like static and live, but that's a story for another day. Okay, so to iterate over this, I'm gonna have to do a for loop. So for var, so variable, call it, so I'll go back here and change this to animal array or list. You can think of it as a list, but it's literally not a list, it's an array, but whatever. So var animal, set that equal to 0. And so as long as the animal, or the animal count is less than the animal array.length, so the length of that array or that list, whatever you want, think about it as, then just up the count for the animal. And then while that's happening, for each animal in the animal array, change the inner HTML to say penguins. Oh my god, it worked. So exciting. So now, if I go back and I kind of hover over it, oops, let me reload. You can clearly see now that they all changed to penguins. Isn't that amazing? So exciting. So now it's like, what are African penguins? African penguins have been admired throughout history for as symbols of courage and strength. These iconic animals have powerful bodies in the cats family. They're second in size only to tigers and roars that can be heard from 5 miles away. And adult penguins, ooh, this one is let me change that grammar. Adult penguins All right, so adult penguins, where's the coat? Oh, it's over here. All right, coat is yellow gold and juveniles have some light spots that disappear with age. Only male penguins typically boast manes, blah, blah, blah. All right, isn't this great? I love that. All right, so penguins, I love that. All right, and then let me change. This won't change if using query selector p. All right. What was I gonna say? But if this had like span class animal plural and it was lion, then it would change into penguins. See? Cute. All right. What else do I want to go over? So, okay, let's say I don't want to use the span. Maybe I want to use the class itself. Oh, wait, no. Wait, I'm so confused. Why did I? Oh, yeah, no, yeah. I did that. Okay, right. I'm like, so, I can't even speak right now. All right, so first I access the elements by the tag name, but I could also access the elements by, I don't know, the class name. Because let's say in the second paragraph, or maybe in the first paragraph, right, I have another span tag, but I'm using this span tag to make the word but to be bold or something. So I could just do that real quick here. Font weight, bold, and CSS. So now they're all become bold. I should have done that from the beginning. It would have been easier to see. All right, but right? So I have a span tag, right? All of them have span tags, bold, perfect. But here's the thing. I don't want to change the butt to be a penguin, right? Because that doesn't make sense. So not all span tags have the word lion in it, but all the lions do have the class animal plural. And so maybe I want to target, right, the what do you call it? The class versus the tag. So I could also do that. Let me comment that out. Put that over here in the bottom. So I can start with a variable. Oops. Okay, variable, can call it animal. It's still the same thing. I'll do animal array. It's going to output an array, right? So both tag and classes output array. So I could do document. So I access the DOM, right? Which is kind of like a copy that the browser makes of the HTML. Documents dot, and then I can use the function get elements by class name, and then put in the class name animal plural. And then to see if that worked, I can do console.log and then animal array, and then in the console, I should be able to see an HTML collection pop out. Cannot properties, document is not defined. Docu, because I didn't spell it right, of course. Document. Save that. All right, and I can see the HTML collection right here. Isn't that beautiful? But notice that the butt isn't highlighted. It's not a part of this because it doesn't include an animal plural class. All right, and so now, again, I have to iterate using a for loop because this is outputting an HTML collection, also known as an array. So I'll do a new variable for my counter, and I'll call it animal, right? Same thing, 0, semicolon, and then as long as the animals are less than the length of the animal array, so the amount of animals in that list, right? Array, not list. Then I can just keep increasing the count of the animals, right? As long as it's less than the length of the total of the animals. And so for each animal in the animal array, I can change the inner HTML to be penguin, and then I'll be able to see them change to penguin. And the butt stays the same because it doesn't have a class animal plural. You know what? At this point, I could have just changed it to animal, honestly, because I don't need. Could I do that? Yeah, let me do that real quick, because I don't need to do plural anymore to specify that it's plural. And then I could just change this to this. Did I miss the first one? Animal, plural. And then also, oh, okay, perfect. All right, so that works, and so that's the goal, right? So all of these have span tags, right? All of these have span tags, including this one, right? But because I didn't want to change this one to be penguin, right? I use the get elements by class name because the actual animals have a class, right, of animal, but this one doesn't. And so that just targets the ones, right, that have the class of animals, which are the ones that I wanted to change to penguins, right? But then this one is just has a span tag because it just happens to be a style that I wanted to apply to all of these words, like the animals, and then this one specifically for some odd reason. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go. Okay, so yeah, so this is a use case for when I want to use class name. I did get by tag name, and I also did get like a single element. This could also be done, oops, this little one over here can also be done if I wanted to use an ID. So let's say I only want the first, let's say I don't just want the first element that it sees, but I specifically want the second paragraph, or maybe let me add a third paragraph. I want specifically the third paragraph to change to penguin. So I'll have like something like, I could do lion. All right, So, or maybe something other than the L animal. This doesn't even make sense. Okay. And I can just go ahead and give the paragraph an ID of hashtag changed because I want to change it. So the way I can do this is, let me comment this out. I just want to kind of find a use case for each DOM access method. All right, the way I can do this is if I just create a variable, call it, I don't know, change, set it equal to document dot, right? I'm accessing the document and I want to get the ID. So the way I do this is I do get element by ID, lowercase, and then put in that ID, so it's change, and then put that in here, and then here's the thing, oops, nope, wrong thing. All right, here's the thing about this one. This one is super easy because it returns a single element just like query selector, and so I don't have to, wait, that's weird, query selector. Oh, I didn't save the other one. Is it below? I meant this one where it's just query selector. All right. And then I don't think, wait, did I not do that one? Query selector. Oh my God, wait, did I not do that one? I'm confused. Query selector all. I don't remember if I did it. Query selector, just p tag would change the first. Yes, I did. I remember talking about it, like the first single element, and it returns a single element so that I don't have to. Hold on, let me comment this out and uncomment this out. Oh, why doesn't it change? Query selector, and just do paragraph, even though it's not a list anymore. Dot inner HTML, change that to penguin. So I'm gonna change the first whole paragraph to penguin. Penguin, query selector, p tag, don't need this, paragraph. Oh, that's weird. What did I do wrong? Let me think. Query selector, paragraph dot inner HTML. Did I spell paragraph wrong? It's a query selector. It only returns a single element. So it's not as if I need to do a for loop, right? So that wouldn't make sense. Oh, paragraph. Oh, I have this. There we go. Okay, that was it. All right, so this is basically selecting a single element, write the first paragraph. But let's say I don't want it to just select the first paragraph. Let's say I specifically want the last paragraph to be changed into something else, right? And not the first one. So in that case, I'm just going to comment that out and go back up here. I would want to do, not me forgetting my semicolons. Did I forget them here? I'm not even going to check. All right, if I want to change the one by ID, then all I have to do now is just access it by the ID and then just do change dot inner HTML, set that equal to, I changed this, semicolon. Is it name? Nope. ID. Oh, dummy. Not you, me. I forgot to put the hashtag because it's an ID. Okay, forgot that one. All right, so perfect. So this changes the ID. So that's the difference between this. I believe though that if I were to, I could do the same. with this one over here, if I were to just kind of comment this out, let me see if it would work if I would just paste that in there and just change it to be hashtag change. It wouldn't work. Interesting. What if yeah, it doesn't work. So I wouldn't be able to select this by ID or any IDs with the query selector, but I could individually select one thing, a single element, but it's going to end up being the first element that it sees. So that's the first paragraph. That's why the first paragraph changed to penguin. All right, but that's that. And then, yeah, I think I'm just going to end it here. Did I cover everything? I don't even know. All right. This is super unorganized, so in order for me to actually understand what I did in the future, I'm gonna actually have to watch the video and go through it because crazy. All right. Let me link the article because I have to cite my sources. That's the one thing I learned from English class. Paste that in there. Oops, it's HTML. So that is. Let me start from the beginning. I literally forgot how to close HTML tags because not tags. The notes. I genuinely forgot. Like actually. Yeah, okay, that's it. All right, was scared for a moment there. Because I haven't done an HTML note in so long. All right, probably should. Note, did I say note? I meant comment. All right, so let me just double check if I included everything. So I definitely did include everything for this specific day. So I did have, oh, I didn't do selection of nested classes. Nested elements using document, blah, blah, blah. Oh, let me do that real quick then. All right, so I could also do, why am I commenting it out? All right, so let's say I want to, this is the longer way, right? I can just, I used the class function, right? Get element by class name. But I could also use if I wanted to kind of specifically get to a class that's like nested, whatever, I could just take the long way. Basically what I'm trying to say is I can just do P as if I were using, like, if I were just targeting like in CSS, I would just do the P tag and then I would do the span and then I would do dot animal. So I could do that by using the query, I can't even speak, query selector all. Yeah, so I could do that, set that var animal, set that equal to documents, access a document, get, nope, not the thing, query selector all, and I can just put in p, then the span, and then dot animal, and then in order to see if I got that, I could just do animal, I'm gonna call this an array, nope, it's a list, because it's a query selector list, save that, debug, paste that in there. All right, and then if I do Control Shift I, I'll be able to see an HTML, nope, a no list. I literally cannot even right now. All right, let me think. So it says the length is 0. Why would it be 0 if there is, oh, because there's only one P. All right, so it's span and then dot animal. Is that better? Weird. If I do the span and then dot animal, why wouldn't it give me stuff? Why wouldn't it give me, because it has a span class. Huh, weird. Let me continue on and see if I can work through it. So 4 and then semicolon, and then here would be variable animal. Set that to 0. As long as the animal is less than the length of the animal array, then increase the animal count, and then for each animal in the animal list, not array. Let me fix that real quick. Then change its inner HTML to something like penguin. But it won't work because I didn't even, it's so weird. I don't understand why it's not document query selector all and then it's not showing up. Let me double check. So this one, nested elements using nested classes. Query selected, that's literally what I did. Like, are you serious? Oh my god, I didn't set it as a variable. Did I do that for the other ones? Okay, that's good. I wonder why it's not working. That's literally exactly what I have here. I have the span, right? So I have the P and then the class, right? That's exactly what I have. So how about I do the P tag and then the animal? How would that work? Oh, it works. Okay, so that's interesting. So it doesn't work if I go, that's so interesting. So the P tag and then the span and then the animal. Because it's not looking within every span, it's looking within one span. How does that make sense? So I guess I have to go straight into it. So if it's like any animal classes within that paragraph, then it would change to penguin. Okay, so I guess it works that way. All right, so that's using nested classes. And if I were to use a nested, let's say, what if I were to do span? It would change. Okay, that works, right? So it also works with nested elements. Okay, so that's with nested elements, and this is with nested classes. All right, so comment that out. Whoops, and I'll just paste that in here and change that to P and then span. So it changes all the span tags within that paragraph or within any paragraph to be penguin. So this is with nested elements. And then this would be nested classes within elements. All right. Is there anything else that I'm missing? So I covered selection of a class, selection of a single element, P and ID, nested elements, nested classes in the class, and then for yesterday, I believe, not yesterday, the day before, I believe I covered get element by ID, class name, and then tag name, right? Which was pretty much all there was to it. Okay, yeah, I covered everything. Oh wow, great. All right, so that's it for today then. What time is it? It's okay. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go now. Bye.